Good Monday morning from the National Weather Service here in Raleigh, North Carolina. My name is James Marmon, meteorologist here at the National Weather Service in Raleigh, and I'm joined today by our summer hauling student, Adam Weiner, who's going to also be helping me with today's weather impact briefing that covers July 8th through the 14th. If you're tuning in after today, July 8th, I highly recommend visiting weather.gov/Raleigh for the latest weather information. We know how quickly weather can change. That will have the most updated weather information for you going forward. So let's progress with the briefing. Taking a look outside the window here on the NC State campus where our office is located, we're seeing skies finally starting to clear out. We had some early morning stratus that hung pretty tough, cleared out of the triad pretty early around 8 a.m., but lingered a little bit more over the triangle and parts further east. But we are seeing a pretty good clearing trend and scattering out, especially in Raleigh westward. Still seeing some lingering clouds a little bit east, but we're expecting this to fill in with some cumulus clouds pretty shortly, and likely seeing our first thunderstorms beginning to pop as early as 1 o'clock to maybe 2 o'clock this afternoon. A little bit more delayed than yesterday, but coverage will probably be pretty comparable. And I'm going to actually pass it over to Adam, who's going to talk a little bit more about what to expect here over the next 5 to 7 days.
Thank you, James. Good morning, everyone. So for this week's weather pattern, we are expecting a cold front to drop south into the region tonight, which will then stall near the coastline or near the North Carolina-South Carolina border for the next couple of days. As a result of the front being nearby today, we can expect a scattered shower and thunderstorm development this afternoon before chances to go down tomorrow behind the front, with subsequently less coverage expected on Tuesday and Wednesday. With another cold front approaching later in the week on Thursday, thunderstorm chances will increase and coverage will also increase, with that front then stalling nearby for the weekend, and thus chances for showers and storms will continue through the weekend. Looking forward to early next week, there is currently a low pressure system over Georgia that's expected to drop south into the Gulf of Mexico, and will be watched very closely for potential development over the weekend and especially into early next week. Looking at the severe thunderstorm potential, we are not expecting anything in the way of widespread severe thunderstorms. Mainly just general thunderstorm risk is in effect over the area today and tomorrow, and as well as Wednesday. However, with the front dropping through tonight, we can expect chances to mainly be confined to the southern areas. With respect to any severe weather, we might see perhaps an isolated severe wind gust or two in some areas, with the main risk being severe wind gusts. There could be some down trees in spots, but again, nowhere in the way of widespread severe weather.
Yeah, in the last couple of days, we've seen a lot of these scattered showers and storms around. And one of the main threats, especially I think lingering into today and including into the rest of the week, is these storms are really slow moving. So we're really worried about the isolated ponding of water on area roadways, especially in urban centers. And while the storms themselves won't be so numerous in nature that everybody sees rain, those that do see rain could see several inches in a short amount of time. We saw that in Greensboro, North Carolina yesterday, where over 3 to almost 4 inches fell over a city center, and that resulted in multiple instances of flash flooding, including a couple of water rescues within the city of Greensboro, and a couple streams going out of their banks. So that is another threat that we're watching closely today, and we'll talk a little bit more about QPF going forward, expected precipitation.
Yes, indeed. The possibility does exist for flash flooding in spots with these slow-moving thunderstorms. So taking a look at the accumulated precipitation, please take note that these maps show area average precipitation, which means that while some areas could certainly see higher amounts from heavy showers or thunderstorms, other areas may not see nearly as much. They might not see anything, in fact. However, when you average out the precipitation, we can see today that most of the region may see somewhere in the range of perhaps a tenth to as much as a half inch. Again, some areas may see much higher amounts, other areas may not see any. With the front passing through, conditions will dry out somewhat across the north, with little in the way of precipitation expected across the northern areas, and lesser amounts compared to today expected in the southern and eastern areas. The same story goes for Wednesday, with the front remaining south of the area, but again, there could be some showers in the southern areas and across the western
the mountainous areas,
yeah,
which tend to see mostly daily thunderstorm chances this time of year, especially anytime there's southerly flow.
So looking at Thursday and Friday, with the cold front approaching from the west, precipitations increase and subsequently forecast amounts also increase, with general amounts expected to be around a quarter inch across the area. And again, being these showers and thunderstorms, there could be higher and lower amounts. and the active pattern continues into the weekend with continued expected scattered shower and thunderstorm development. And now taking a closer look across North Carolina for the 7-day total, it appears that the amounts between half and an inch are expected mainly in the northern areas, with heavier amounts to the south where there'll be more activity near the cold front that's dropping in both tonight and later in the week.
Yeah, and we are seeing a good indication of some increased amounts up to 2 inches in areas that have been relatively dry this spring and early summer, which is going to be great for our drought, because I know they're having some drought issues, especially along the coast. So that'll be great for us going ahead. And Adam, you mentioned a little bit earlier, we are tracking the chance for some tropical formation over the next 5 days. We actually have an upper low that's sitting over Georgia that's actually helping to influence some of the thunderstorms that we've had the past few days. And that's going to actually drop south into the Gulf of Mexico, which is one of the favorite areas of development this time of year. And the National Hurricane Center, as of their 8 a.m. advisory, is giving this an 80% chance of tropical formation over the next 5 days or so. Likely to see some sort of organization anywhere from maybe late Wednesday night through Friday, and then persisting into the weekend. At this point, there's a lot of uncertainty in place on whether or not our area will see any impacts from this system. So we're not saying take any specific actions now, but just keep in mind we are well into tropical season. So we highly recommend visiting weather.gov/RAH/tropical to see our new tropical weather webpage. We've been using this for about a year now, and there's a lot of great information on there, including a lot of infographics that can help you and anybody, your families or your constituents that may need this information. And the one thing we really want to drive home today is we want to deliver the right message. Yes, there's some tropical activity out there, but keep in mind that the chances of us getting any impact from this system in particular is pretty low, but it is never too early to prepare for it. But it is important that we use official National Hurricane Center forecasts and share only reliable sources. There's some sources out there that try to play up some of these events for whatever reason. We want to make sure we share the most reliable sources and official sources anytime that we can do that. And there's also some things to do even if you're not under the direct threat of one of these systems. A couple examples would be assemble disaster supply kits, complete a written plan, and determine your risk. North Carolina certainly sees these risks. 2018 was a good year to remember when it comes to tropical activity with both Florence and Michael. So tropical is here. Tropical season is here, and it goes through November. And it's certainly something we want to be prepared for, because within a week or two, we could get surprised by a system. So that's always important.
Certainly. So now moving on actually to take a look at the week 2 in the 8 to 14 day time period. It appears that the Climate Prediction Center is showing that there are higher than normal chances for above normal temperatures to continue across the area. Temperatures generally in the upper 80s, lower 90s have been ongoing, and we're expecting that to continue into the middle of July. However, with precipitation, there are currently near normal chances for either above or below normal temperature or precipitation, in such that some areas may see higher than normal temperatures or may see lower than normal temperatures. Pretty much a pattern where we have cold fronts passing through every so often to keep the temperatures in balance.
That's right, and the precipitation will be around that same area, the near neutral amounts. So, doing a quick summary, we'll see a little bit of scattered storm coverage today. Adam did a good job showcasing this a little bit earlier, with the primary threat of locally heavy rainfall that could lead to urban and small stream flooding. We saw that a little bit yesterday, especially in the Greensboro and the Triad region. Storm chances decrease on Tuesday and Wednesday before returning full force on Thursday, likely persisting into next weekend. A lot of uncertainties, especially in terms of the tropical influence that could come across the area or could have nothing to do with us. So time will only tell there. We are expecting some slightly cooler than normal and cooler than the last few week temperatures beginning tomorrow, with 85 degrees and those low 80s persisting north of Raleigh especially, but also sinking to the south there. You could get a little bit closer to 90 degrees depending on where that front decides to set up. But those thunderstorm chances come back in force, like we said, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And overnight lows will hover right above or at 70 degrees. And luckily, drought conditions are mostly unchanged this past week, with some potential relief in the way of precipitation over the next 7 days or so, which is good news. At this point, I'm going to pause the webinar, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.